Oh, Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahmavitvaram Sadgurum Brahmavitvaram यो अन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम् समचरणसरोजम् सान्द्रनीलाम्बुदाभम् जघननिहितपाणिम् मण्डनं मण्डनानाम् तरुणतुलसीमालां गन्धरं कञ्जनेत्रं सदयधवलहासं विठ्ठलं चिन्तयामि विठ्ठलं चिन्तयामि. Pranams to the Lord. Pranams to all the Mahatmas in tonight's Eknathi Bhagawat session. We are in chapter 9. We have finished verse 331 Ovis and we have finished the 29th verse also. So we begin from OV 332. Over to you, Venkateshji.
Yeah. Should we read the meaning of the verse? I think we have not.
We read the meaning of the verse.
Okay. 332. After crores of births in all the 84 categories of birth, suddenly by great luck, the human birth takes place. 333. One who is born as a human being should be considered as already embracing the spiritual life, and even his ancestors rejoice at that birth. 334. If a man thinks that he would first get all the satisfaction through senses and later in life he would return towards spiritual life, there is no such certainty in this life because death can strike at any time. 335. Death does not consider whether a man is virtuous or evil, whether he is in his own country or in a foreign country, or whether it is day or night. The death simply destroys. 336.
Hariyo.
As a yeah.
Hariom Venkateshji, sorry to interrupt. Is there a problem with your mic? The voice is coming as though there is an echo or something.
Not too sure. Is it echoing now?
Hmm.
Is it
There,
echoing?
no, this is better. But when you're
Okay.
reading, there is like a hustle that comes along with your voice.
Uh, I have just kept one mic off. Now let us see this.
Okay.
You just tell me in 336 whether there was any disturbance. As the serpent gulps a frog without delay, so right from the birth, the body is subject to death at any time.
It is reduced, though it is there, but it is reduced considerably. It is clear now.
337. The serpent is swallowing the frog, and the frog is picking a fly with its long tongue. Similarly, even at the time of death, people are hungry to enjoy the illusionary objects. 338. The man who lazily postpones following the spiritual path surely loses this great chance of freedom and again falls in the rotating tragedies of birth and death. 339. O King Yadu, considering all this state of affair, one must make haste to catch the chance of spiritual life and prepare oneself for achieving the absolute Brahman. 340. One must cut off the laziness, put aside drowsiness and sleep, and one should day and night meditate upon the Atman. 341. Brave soldiers going towards battlefield do not become slack until they defeat the enemy. Similarly, with the same one pointedness, one should execute the career of spiritual penance. 342. A man who is marrying second time is always anxious till the actual wedding. One should similarly be constantly anxious till the actual wedding of Jiva and Shiva takes place. 343. If the only child of a king is suddenly missing, he makes a search throughout his country. Similarly, one must make all the efforts to achieve one's own final welfare. 344. Before the death strikes, a man must not waste a single moment in his effort to achieve the final goal. 345. But alas, in this valuable human life, all people are mad for indulgence in the passionate pleasures because of their great urge and desire for worldly life. 346. There is only sensual indulgence in the animals. If the same indulgence is continued in human life, what is the good of that? 347. If we consider sanely, we find that enjoyment of objects depends only on the destiny. By undertaking unnecessary troubles for it, we will only destroy our body. 348. The human body is sacred. If a man having this rare body does not achieve the absolute Brahman, he should be considered as a biped donkey without tail. If a man simply talks, 349, if a man simply talks from the top of his head without direct realization, it is as absurd as a monkey drinking wine and playing pranks. 350. Persons who have bookish knowledge but no self knowledge are like the fireflies throwing their feeble pinpoints of light in the darkness. 351. Sannyasis who have no experience of Brahman are people who, like a part in a drama, shave their head and are hungry for alms, who have wasted the geru color of for their dress. 352. If a person who recites Vedas but are still having powerful desire and greed in their mind and think inwardly to get enjoyment of their pet objects, they should be considered as frogs uttering hoarse words in the mud. 353. Keeping quiet but hopefully thinking how to get sensual pleasure is like the silent posture of a crane and singing songs in order to get money, and sensual indulgence is like the braying of donkey when it sees a female donkey. 354. When a person gives sermons and talks about God and religion with a desire to gain money and pleasure, his talk is like the cackling of crows gather to pick up rice morsels kept for ancestors. 355. The persons doing mimicries talk all type of nonsense in order to fill their belly. The argument on philosophy which pundits indulge into are just like that frivolous talk. 356. There are people who wear sophisticated dress and make a show of their virtue and righteousness, but are burning inside with lust and passion. It is like a crow preening its feathers to show how mindful it is about its cleanliness, but actually it is thinking eagerly about sputums and dirty things to eat. 357. Just as the prostitute sells her sex and maintains herself, so there are people who perform rituals like fire worship and yajnas, while in their minds there is desire to fill their bellies. 358. To attain complete freedom is, however, the only challenge, the only goal of human life. To rush towards other pursuits, neglecting this main aim, should be considered as total disaster. 359. One who does not attain self knowledge in human birth should be considered a swine or even lesser than them. 360. If a beast is kicked, it withdraws from the place but does not nurse that grievance any longer. But if a man is accosted and called insultingly, he gets angry and assaults. 361. Animals do not hoard up their food. They eat only that much as will satisfy their hunger and leave the remnants. 362. But see the greed of men. A miser is not happy even when he has piled up millions of rupees. He does not eat food in order to economize. If at all any money is required to be given to charity, he would commit suicide. 363. Animals and birds have no worry about the morning or evening food. But the hope of man is not satisfied even after many births. 364. Man is constantly worrying even if he has great fortune in his possession. The human being has no trust in anybody in the whole world. He is having constant fear in his mind. 365. A man is still having monetary transactions though he is on the deathbed, and is still digging the base in the ground for building a house for his grandsons to live in. 366. Animals have no such deep anxiety anytime. Now I shall tell you the condition about their sex life. 367. Animals have sex only when their mating season is there, and at other times they never go near the female. But men desire sex anytime throughout their elderly life. Even a woman who is carrying is not spared by her husband. 368. Only human beings suffer from lust, anger, greed, pride, or gossip. Animals do not nurse these feelings. 369. So people who become slaves to their passions and do not do not at all care for self knowledge are of birth lower than dogs or swines. 370. The pleasure which is derived from the object of senses is of the same nature either in the hell or the heaven. The pleasure which is available in this human life is the same in quality as the pleasure which the Lord Indra enjoys. 371. The category other than humans are meant to live without the limitation of having pain and suffering. Animals have no limitation of having pain and suffering. 372. How does one get human birth? To be born as human being is a very difficult and a rare chance. I shall tell you how this happens. Please listen carefully. 373. When the merit is great and the man goes to heaven, and if the sins are great, he goes to hell. And when both these are totally dissolved, the man becomes liberated. 374. When the merit and sins are equal, one gets human life and becomes a part of the social system of caste and status, Varna and Ashrama. He is endowed with some intelligence more than animals. 375. There is no sure way to definitely be born as human beings. One who is having great good luck may be born in this way at any point in the evolution. 376. Many valuable jewels can be had by paying enough cost, but the jewel Chintamani cannot be purchased. It is possible to get it by chance. Similarly, one is born in many categories of animals, etc., but human birth is really rare. 377. One who does not seek liberation, though he is born as human being, should be considered as totally stupid and doing treachery to God or breach of trust which the God has in him. 378. God has great hope about human beings that they can attain freedom, and in the and if the man does not fulfill God's hope, it is a breach of trust and it will definitely lead to the destruction of that man. 379. The forefathers have great hope that their son will be will be great devotee of God and will be the cause of emancipation of all the family members. But if the son is slave to sensual pleasure, all their hopes are doomed. 380. Avadhuta says, seeing that human body is a result of great good luck and most useful for freedom from the cycle of birth and death, I have imbibed in myself the great aesthetic virtues.
एवं सञ्जात वैराग्यः विज्ञानालोक आत्मनि विचरामि महीमेताम् मुक्तसङ्गो न कृतिः.
Meaning of the verse, having thus freed myself from all attachment, egoism, and having developed dispassion and possessing the light of knowledge, I wander in this world myself, being established in Atman 381. When I know that this body is helpful to practice religious and spiritual penance, but is destructive indulgent pleasure, I had conviction that I must between the organs and their objects on the strength of this detachment and by the help of the promising advice given by all these gurus.
Hariyo,
383.
Hariyo,
Yeah,
Hariyo. We can pause over here and you can tell your thoughts first.
Varsha ji, I think there has been so much of, I mean, when you read each shloka, how uh, I think the Avduta and I mean the information is that how rare is this human life, and what if we are not in the path of spiritual, how we are, I mean how we have been depicted as, I mean the lowest of the creations have been told. And I mean hard hitting statements about the, I mean human life, and how it is going in the pursuit of the worldly desires, and what Avduta says that we must detach from this, and the sooner we detach from this, the better it is. And some of the, and also the comparison between animals and human life, at least when you go through these statements, we at one point of time, even though they are not being blessed with the intellect and all, but the way they perform their whatever ordained duties are there, they perform and they know what has to be done. But human beings, because of the because of whatever you call lust, greed, everything, we tend to possess things, and thereby, even I think in one of the statement they were saying that even at the deathbed the person is thinking of putting a foundation for the grandson's house. So all these statements are very hard hitting. I think these were some of the things which I think I could bring out. I think these were important statements.
Very well summarized. Any other thoughts, Nikhilaji, Srihariji?
The movie 363 is that what is called as Vasanas Varshaji, but the hope of man is not satisfied even after many births.
Asha,
Asha. So that
desires. Hope is that desires.
desires. So that we carry birth on birth if we don't
Hmm,
exhaust them.
correct. Yes. That innate tendency. Like, Duryodhana says, no, I know what is dharma. I know what is adharma. But he's saying, I have no pravritti into it. My pravritti is in adharma. I know, I understand very well. But nachame pravritti, like that he says. So that inner, that strife, Swami Abhedanand says, you hold on one negative thought for a long time. No, you are creating a deeper impression and it will keep on coming to you. And we make, like, I don't like this person. I don't like this person. I don't like this. And you keep on thinking about that person. You're making that dislike impression deep. Then it doesn't go. Then it converts into something. Then the desire comes in something. Any anger, hate, all this, no, we hold on and we unnecessarily, that other person will not know anything. It is we who are suffering. And out of that, whatever our actions, our desires, our thought, and we create deeper impressions. The next birth we carry, all that impression. We become hard, we become, I don't know, unkind, unlovable. We have got some kind of experience, and instead of taking it as Ishvara Prasada Buddhi, why me? Because of that person, because of this person, and because that blame again. And then always the blame is outside. I am good, others are bad. No, that is always we have. No? We are never at fault, right? That's all. So all this we are creating impressions, impressions, impressions. The desires are building. Then the revenge bhavana comes or whatever comes. Or competitive bhavana comes. He has this, I must have that. Where we will subdue all that. Why to create impressions? That's why all these readings help us to calm our mind in so many different ways. And it brings us on track if we are going off track. That's why, all these satsangs are so very crucial. And we have got every other reason to go and keep anywhere. The senses are dragging us. And then when such words, when Swamiji says, when Maharajji says like this, then it brings us now back. Okay, then somewhere it subdues, it helps us to reduce it. So we can convert into a positive thing. Okay, let me be in the path. We can convert our somewhere we need an alambana. Why not on the scriptures? Huh? Somewhere we want to hold and chew on it. So why to chew on a negative aspect? We can chew like this and create those impressions deeper.
I have one more point. That's why Jaya Vijaya choose to be the enemies of Lord, because we tend to remember the enemy's name more than the God. So is my perception correct in that?
See, and God has even people who have hated him, even his enemies, maybe so many Rakshasas, or they have all been liberated at hands of God. See, whether you hate or you like, you're continuously thinking of that person. Right? So they have got liberation anyways.
But they think more of the God, like keep on, that enemy name is always on their lips.
Okay. Any more thoughts are coming in?
I like the verse which talks about anxiety in human beings or desires. They have anxiety in everything. So the reading of this every day helps us to still be in this life, family life, like to be an actionless action, to conduct an actionless action, kind of. Okay, everything is moving on, going, like that. So not get attached to anything. Okay, today is gone, finished. Rather than having targets and we get attached too much. So when before we go to bed, when we just think about these things, at least we are getting a peaceful sleep and everything is wiped out.
Very true.
And that's the great benefit that I could see.
Yes. Very true. I agree. So who is reading tomorrow? Okay, so from 383 you should start, right? So today's session. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Hari Om, everyone. Thank you for joining. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hariom,
Hari Om.
Varshaji.
Hari
Hari
Om.
Om. Hari Om. Thank you.
Narayana was beautiful, Varshaji. I could
Oh my God.
just wrestle.
I got hallucinations. It was so overwhelming. My God. We did
We're
that
waiting
crux.
for the meeting. Thank you
I'm
for
feeling
the
sad for the kids. So we'll chant maybe one or two verses for the kids. Then they'll, because they ran away and get to maybe some tuition or something.
yeah. And it's that time to go to the playground also for the kids.
Chalo. See God. Hari Om. Hari
Hari Om
Om.
ji.
Hari Om.
Hariom ji.
Hari Om.